Back in episode 67 of Ian's Racing Stories, I made an episode of Ron Hornaday Jr. being the king of the NASCAR Trucks Series, mainly going over his NASCAR Truck Series career. While I was working on that episode, I found out that Ron Hornaday Jr.'s son, Ronnie Hornaday III, also had a racing career in his time in NASCAR. On the 71st episode of Ian's Racing Stories, we're going to be going over the short racing career of Ronnie Hornaday. With that being said, let's begin. Ron Hornaday III, aka Ronnie Hornaday, was born on August 1st, 1979 from Palmdale, California. When Ronnie was a kid, he got into racing thanks to his dad, but he was playing football until the age of 14. After Ronnie was gifted a 1978 Chevy Camaro street stock at the age of 15, Ronnie would test the street stock and would race full-time in Kern County Raceway in 1995. While working for Dale Earnhardt Incorporated as a welder in 1997, working on Dale Jr.'s late model car for years, Ronnie Hornaday III would attempt his NASCAR debut in the NASCAR Slim Jim All-Pro Series, which was the Southeast Division Series at the time, for the Caraway race, but would DNQ after qualifying 31st in a 30-car field. Despite not making his original debut in a NASCAR sanctioned race at Caraway, in 1999, Ronnie Hornaday III would race for his father's truck team after his father bought a truck for a guy that never picked it up. Ronnie would test in Greenville Pickens Speedway. However, if Ronnie was a half second of Ron, he would go racing. After being in the same speed with Ron, he would finally go racing. With some help and some hard work for himself, Ronnie would have some sponsor with Napa and Lucas Oil. Fred Graves would also be his crew chief and helper to build and develop his trucks. Ronnie III's goal was to qualify in the top 25 and finish in the top 10. Go out and prove he was not some guy who has a father who races, wanting to make a name for himself. On the 5th race of the 1999 season in Martinsville, Ronnie would miss the race, qualifying 40th out of 44th in a 36 truck field. However, he would finally make his NASCAR debut in Memphis for the 6th race of the season by qualifying 26th. While his father had a right front tire failure, losing his right front tire, also getting hit by the number 27 of Mike Swain Jr. and having a right front tire failure, he would finish in 6th. Ronnie III would spin on lap 62 entering the Trioval. Despite the spin, he would finish in 24th. 8 races later, Ronnie would make his 2nd and 3rd start at the Nashville Fairgrounds in Nazareth. In Nashville, he'd finish the 17th after starting in 32nd, and the 16th at Nazareth after starting 25th. 3 races later, Ronnie would race at IRP, finishing 23rd after starting in 32nd. In Louisville, Ronnie Hornaday would spin, and number 55 of Tony Roper and the 31 of Kevin Kwinski would also spin and get together coming to the start-finish line on lap 68. After a 25th place starting grid, Ronnie III would DNF in 28th after running 66 laps. After Louisville, he would not race for the remainder of the season and had an average finish of 21.6. Despite some struggles in 1999, he did okay for a part-timer. He was just running some laps to learn while he was looking for more funding to run more races and going for Rookie of the Year 2000. However, on January 29, 2000, TDK Racing would announce that Ronnie would run full-time in the 2000 ARCA season with the 1999 Chevy Monte Carlos after posting some impressive test runs at Daytona back in December 1999. In his first ever visit at Daytona, he had the fastest speed of 186.297 miles per hour, 5th fastest. Unfortunately, nothing would come from it in terms of running a full season due to no sponsor deals being finalized. He would run 2 total races in 2000. One of them was the ARCA 200 at Daytona. Ronnie was still racing his dad's team with Lucas Oil / Engine Wear as a sponsor, where he started 16th, staying out of trouble and finished at 14th, 1 lap down. Later in the year, he would attempt to qualify for the truck race at IRP for Cunningham Motorsports in the number 92, but would DNQ. However, he would return to the series in Fontana for the season finale, finishing 23rd after starting in 27th. In 2001, Ronnie Hornaday would start his racing season in ARCA at Daytona once again. He would race in a number 4 Chevrolet for Eddie Sharp's racing team with SWAT Fitness Club as a sponsor, finishing 11th after starting in 28th. As for his truck stints, he would kick it off at Daytona in his father's team with Lucas Oil as a sponsor. He would start in 28th, but he would suffer an engine failure with 10 laps to go, finishing 21st. In Homestead, he was starting 25th, but on lap 92 to 93, Ronnie Hornaday III was on the inside of the number 19 of Ricky Sanders. If he would get loose, Hornaday would spin while Sanders went up to the turn 3 outside wall, crashing out of the race. As for Ronnie, he would continue to race and finish in 18th, 2 laps down. His next race was the first Martinsville race, starting 30th, but on lap 224, Ronnie Hornaday would suffer a right rear tire failure in turn 4, entering the front straightaway, and then the number 99 of Nathan Haslew. Hornaday would still finish 14th after a good run despite the tire troubles. His next race was at Darlington for the 6th race of the season. Hornaday would start 12th. Darlington would be the best race of his NASCAR career, ending up with the 11th place finish. While Hornaday was doing some truck racing, he would finally go NASCAR Busch Series racing. On June 14, 2001, Weiler Racing and Foyt Racing would hire Ronnie Hornaday III to race in the number 41 Chevy Monte Carlo ride with Lucas Oil and Arctic Cat as a sponsor in the inaugural newly built Kentucky Speedway. He did testing at the track a summer prior for a few laps, saying it was a fast track. Ronnie would qualify in 31st. Hornaday was struggling throughout the race. Unfortunately, at lap 68, troubles would take place.
Jason Keller, they got both cans in it, but apparently he was out of gas. Trouble in turn 2, a car in the wall. Way up on the turn 2 wall. And hard, that is Ronnie Hornaday. Another third generation driver. And the son of Winston Cutler, Ron Hornaday Jr. And that will put us under caution. See Ronnie moving around in the car.
Ronnie had trouble in that corner at the start of the race. He got up high and it never fails. Everybody's talked about turn 3, and that's kind of the treacherous corner, and kind of be careful there. And we have trouble in turn 1.
Hornaday, one of 3 drivers making their first ever Busch Series start today.
You can see that he's hit that wall very, very hard. It stunned him. He's sitting down beside his car there. Knocked the breath out of him, I'm sure. He's kind of holding his arm like it might have hurt his arm.
Some of the 72,000 happy fans here in Kentucky getting to see NASCAR Busch Series racing for the first time. Let's show you the tracks of Ron Hornaday's tears here down at turns 1 and 2 as he has brought out the second caution of the day.
Looks like something happened to the right front, cut a tire down or something. He hit the wall really hard right here. And as you can see, he just kind of skidded along right there to where he came to rest. But that was a very, very hard hit into that first turn wall. And I got to believe from looking at those marks that something happened to the right front.
And these are 3 or more laps down or in the garage, including Ronnie Hornaday after that tough crash in turn 1. Jeff Hammond's with him.
Yes, Mike, we caught up with Ronnie Hornaday. Ronnie, man, you had a heck of a lick out there, buddy. You okay?
Yeah, I'm not too bad. My Lucas Oil Arctic Cat Chevrolet was running good. Got over anxious early in the race, spun out, and just trying to get my rhythm back, trying to learn these Busch cars, learn this track at the same time. And just struggling a little bit out there. Came in turn 1, throttle stuck, and first time I ever had it, so a little bit nervous about it, but I think we'll be all right. Just get the thing back ready and maybe go out to RP with it.
A few minutes ago, I understand your father called you from up there in Pocono. You want to tell him anything?
Yeah, Dad, I'm all right. Happy Father's Day. I'll be okay. Just a little sore on the right side. As you know, it's the hardest one I've took so far.
That's one thing for sure. The car came by me, and it was very badly damaged. Mike?
He can tell AJ Happy Father's Day. AJ owns that car. Ouch.
Yeah, I would never want to have to confront the hoof, as we always call him, about me wrecking his car.
A good thing Ronnie's okay, though.
It is.
Despite no replay, what happened was that Ronnie was dealing with a really bad vibration, which forced himself to pit on lap 10. Despite being a lap down, he was caught up with the regulars such as Jimmy Johnson and Joe Ruttman. But then he had a stock throttle, crashed hard into the outside wall in turn 2, ending his race in 37th. Ronnie was hoping he'd return to the Busch Series for some more races. Sadly, the inaugural race at Kentucky in 2001 would be the only time he would race in NASCAR Busch Series in his racing career. Almost 2 months after his Busch Series debut at Kentucky, Ronnie Hornaday would race at the IRP truck race, starting in 15th for the race, but on lap 100, Ronnie Hornaday would be involved in a multi-truck wreck after Larry Gunzelman got touched by Travis Quaffle, involving Lance Norrick would spin after getting together with Kyle Busch, but then Ronnie III will lock up his brakes as John Wood and Larry Gunzelman. After the IRP race, I believe the Hornaday Family team, which is ran by Ron's wife Lindy, shut down their team. I'm not sure what happened to the team. I could not find any information about it online. For those who may know on what happened, or if you are a family member of the Hornaday family or a member of someone who worked for the team or related to someone who worked for the team, let me know in the comments below. Back in October 11, 2001, there was a rumor that Channel Lock might leave Fitz Racing's Busch Series number 11 team for Curb Agajanian's Motorsports number 43 Busch Series team, with the car being full-time, but the father-son duo Ron and Ronnie Hornaday would split the rides. Unfortunately, nothing came from it after Hornaday was let go from the number 11 Busch Series ride for Tabo dying for the second Charlotte race. After racing in IRP, Ronnie III would find a ride to end the 2001 NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series season, racing in a number 07 truck for Greenlight Racing with King Taka as a sponsor for the season finale race at Fontana. Unfortunately, he would miss the show, thus ending his 2001 racing season. Between 2002 to 2003 and 2005, he would race in trucks 3 more times. Ronnie would race for Team Racing, which is owned by Phil Bonnetfield, in number 25 Air Jamaica Vacation / Arctic Cat Chevy for the Dover race. However, he would suffer some electrical issues and DNF after running 78 laps, finishing 28th. In 2003, Ronnie Hornaday would race for MB Motorsports for 2 races with Summer Bay Resort at Daytona and Charlotte with Porter Truck as a second sponsor with Summer Bay Resort at Daytona. Hornaday started 35th at Daytona and had a clean race until he suffered some clutch issues, finishing 27th. In Charlotte, he was starting 26th. He moved up 2 spots early in the going, but Hornaday would suffer some engine issues, but I believe he was part of the big one turn 4 in lap 6 as well, finishing 32nd. After the Charlotte race, Ronnie III would work for Ultra Motorsports as a crew member. In 2005, Ronnie III will return to the ARCA Remax Series at Salem Speedway for the 3rd race of the 2005 ARCA Remax Series season in number 4 Dodge for Cunningham Motorsports with Hans Group and Dodge Motorsports funding the ride. Hornaday would qualify in 2nd, and he would lead the first 14 laps of the race until Jab Blount took the lead away from him. Hornaday would finish in 11th. He would return to the number 4 Cunningham Motorsports team at Lanier Speedway for the 6th race of the season. He was starting 28th. It would finish an impressive 8th place finish, his first ever top 10 ever in his major stock car series career. However, that would be his last ever ARCA race he ran. Later in the race, Ronnie Hornaday will get an opportunity of a lifetime to race for Ultra Motorsports, the same team he worked on as a crew member in number 7 truck at Richmond for Dodge and Mopar funding the ride along with Team ASC. Unfortunately, the deal of a lifetime ended with a DNQ, meaning we never saw what Ronnie Hornaday was truly made of in a big team. What's even more unfortunate is that the Richmond DNQ would be the last time he sat foot in a race car in a major stock car series, thus ending his racing career. In his 14 starts in the Truck Series, he would have an average finish of 22.3. In 4 ARCA starts, he would only have 1 top 10 and an average finish of 11th. After his racing career ended, he was promoted as a truck director for Aaron Crocker's 98 truck team for Evernham Motorsports, while his previous roles with the team was truck chief and front tire carrier for number 98 truck team. Throughout his life, even before his racing career ended, he was a family man. These days, he's the father of 3 girls and owns a hemp business called 74 Hemp. Honestly, Ronnie Hornaday looked like he was a decent driver who happened to be the son of Ron Hornaday Jr. He had some decent runs in some teams he ran for. He just never got a bigger break he was looking for in his time in racing. Besides the Ultra Motorsports ride he DNQ'd in, it is truly hard to judge for a driver like Ronnie who ran a few races. However, he does not seem like a bad driver. At least on the bright side, he not only had knowledge driving race cars, but different roles in his time in NASCAR. At least in his life, things are going well as a family man and a businessman. So that's going to do it for another episode of Ian's Racing Stories. I want to say thank you guys so much for watching. My name's Ian, and I talk about racing and tell stories about the world of auto racing. Signing off, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Goodbye, everybody.